Hungry Burger, Goblins as well. And is that Crystal Beast along with some other meta? Make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button. I'm so happy we have Hungry Burger. This deck is like, I really wish that like I had more time to sit down and actually like enjoy playing the combo lines of this deck. But like the way that this deck works is actually super cool. Also, you know, Divine Order of the Heralds have gotten way more expensive, and unfortunately, you know, if you were a budget player wanting to play this, I mean, you could have picked up the stuff way earlier for sure, but like, this is a little bit of a hindrance. Also, I mean, yeah, dropping the Herald does get the deck going, but if you can't have this piece, it becomes a little bit more harder to get. I was only playing 2 copies of the Culinary Confrontation, which is kind of interesting. Triple in today's menu, very standard. 1/1 on these, that's fine. Do play 1 meat recipe, 2 fish recipe. Alright, and then of course, triple field spell. We're actually playing the double Forbidden Chalice for the targeting aspect of things, which is pretty good. I'm also happy to see that we have a build that's not like 50, 57 cards. You know, like the Final Attack Order build that we saw a while back was kind of cool on paper. It did open up some ideas to what you could mess around with, but you know, we're not doing that here, which is actually pretty good. Hey, I also see Cross Sheep and Lingaribo here as well. You know, this is a level 1. I mean, you can do some little shenanigans with this. I mean, look at all your super poly targets that you have in here as well. Like, they're covering all of their bases that they can. And then, of course, you know, the good old Pastiel Corvature in here, just being able to be rolled off of Confrontation. Yeah, this is really cool. I don't know. This is one of those decks that I greatly appreciate. And every time I see it show up, it just puts a smile on my face. Just because, you know, duelists are having success with this. Also, Ben 10 searchability is kind of insane for this deck. Imagine just losing to a Hungry Burger out here. Of all things, like, good stuff. What else we got going on back here? So, Goblins have had a fairly large amount of success, the way it seems. Terror Top bumping back actually was a big help because, you know, getting into the Takumtumborg, and then suddenly, guess what? Well, we can get into Big Gabunga out here, and we can start rolling up these relatively strong fields, as we're going to say. Being able to actually quickly make Big Gabunga so you can start actually doing what the deck wants to do is very, very strong. One other thing I do want to point out here, you have a couple of little interesting things. We do play the Full Armored Xyz, and we do play the Ghost Trick Shot in here. By actually playing the Ghost Trick Shot, no, you might not want to hear this, but like, being able to make the Elu card, and then, you know, Mischief on up, and then suddenly, you know, you can make the second Mischief, and then F-Zero. Contrary to what you might not understand about this format, F-Zero is actually a really good card. Yes, Imperm does kind of ruin its day. Yeah, King Sark is a card that can pump this thing off of the field. It does happen, but it does give you a chance to kind of do some strong things. And this is also interesting. We also have the Bujinki Ashima in here as well. You know, I actually kind of like this. The Exceed actual effect in here for a free spell and trap pop actually sometimes does come up, actually. The only Pujin card that we'll ever see play in my heart. Also interesting that we weren't doing any more of the little Full Armored Xyz stuff in here. Actually, maybe you would have figured, maybe, you know, just kind of get the best value, but okay. I mean, you're playing Goblins. You don't really get a lot of craziness out here. Actually, just seeing Goblins, period, I think is enough to put a smile on a lot of people's faces, considering a lot of people are like, oh, Goblins are going to fail. I was one of them. What in the world is this? What are we doing here? Well, you do see Crystal Beast plays, and I will tell you that there's been a lot of discussion. Evidently, Crystal Beast Pegasus just opens up an entire world of some pretty stupid things that you can do in here. You're also doing like your full Horus package in here as well. So the value you're going to be turning over in this deck, you're all playing 60 cards. I mean, like, okay. Now, yes, we are doing advanced Crystal Beast plays in here. And yes, you do need to have the advanced dark in here to make sure that, you know, these little guys don't blow themselves up. All right, because that's the one worst thing that you don't want to actually see. All right, but believe it or not, all right, you can do some crazy things. Being able to get into the over Rainbow Dragon stuff, also having access to some very easy link climb plays is actually pretty insane, actually. You also get, like, kind of the best of all of the worlds with the builds like this. You know, you have Crystal Miracle in here. Don't even get me started on how stupid Golden Rule can actually be. Your defensive options, I mean, are things like Book of Eclipse, just so you can kind of get things going. I do find it interesting that we're playing only one droplet in here, but, like, I guess they felt like Book of Eclipse was just a better out, or a better way to kind of pressure the meta, and I think that's fine. You also have the Rainbow Bridge of Salvation to get you into literally anything that you want. Like this card, to bridge any Crystal Beast, and the ability to get a field spell is so good. I mean, let's talk about your field spell. I mean, you have Necro Valley, you have the Zombie World, you have all of these good options to kind of allow you the chance to kind of get things going in a better position for a deck like this. So take your options where they can be. You have a lot of strong ones for this. I mean, once again, you're playing Crystal Beast. I think that's really cool. Holy crap. Where in the world did this old reliable thing come from? Hey, you guys remember, it wasn't too long ago, where people like, Orcust is back, Orcust is back, it's tier 1, this deck is so strong, you know, it's going to continue to top forever. Orcust has already experienced a severe... The minute that fire touched down, Orcust got blown out into the back of a canyon somewhere, and it is struggling right now to kind of find a chance to get back off of the ground. Now, with that being said, though, with what we're dealing with in the meta, this deck just... You end on some of, like, what don't feel like very strong boards. I almost want to compare this deck to Sword Soul, but, like, that's doing it a disservice because, like, the interruptions you can kind of come up with, your Horus package is a little bit better, but the deck just kind of struggles with the more basic things. And, of course, we had Super Poly in here. I still think that this is one of the best board-breaking cards that you can have, you know, for both of these two cards, just so you can get your things going that you need to. Outside of that, I don't really think there's anything that this deck feels like it can improve on. I do think that you will continue to see patches of success with this deck because it's Orcust, man. Like, it's a fan favorite, all right? Harp Horror, I do think that they should move Harp Horror to 2 at this point and give this deck a little bit more gas, and we can start to see things, but it's also very rare that you do see, like, pure Orcust kind of stepping on into the light and actually kind of performing. Not saying this deck has performance anxiety. That's not the case. But, you know, you had so many people that were like, hey, you know, how do we adjust ratios with this? You know, do we play multiples of this? No. At this point in time, it's either beat fire or play fire. Oh, man. You love to see it. Oh, hey, look. Pure Snake Eyes. You know, I was waiting for some of these builds to kind of come out of the open here and we could see things. Fire Recovery. That's actually some pretty crazy gas. I see we have Herald of the Abyss for the good old purely, the sales bands for the specific names to blow out. Snatch Steal. Oh, well, I mean, to be fair, just snatch steal away your opponent's big monster. You know, hey, you have an Amber Whale on the field. Oh, okay, well, this is my Amber Whale now. You know, oh, well, that's not a problem. Silvera is actually pretty good. I don't think a lot of people consider the crazy value that Silvera actually does give to these decks. But, like, this is kind of a different ball game right now for how good this can be. It's so good they're citing a second copy of it down here. They're also playing an Avermax. Do fire decks have an out to Avermax? Like, huh. Things to think about for 500. Outside of that, I think this is actually probably one of the more unique takes that I've seen on this deck. Man, they're really pushing the numbers here on this thing. It's also pretty cool to actually see Kurikara in here actually doing its thing, but a lot of also just proves how stupid the Divine Temple of the Snake Eyes actually can be. Well then, interesting. So, what do you guys think about the fire, well, the oddities of today's meta? I do love the Nouvelles deck. That's actually super cool to see. So please, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. I'll see your beautiful faces back. You learned it, guys. Peace out. patrons. Thank you. Ah!
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.